Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Committee on Public Services. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll as well and everybody check in?
Commissioner Kinlock. Commissioner Hattis. Commissioner Baydoun.
Here.
Commissioner Palomera.
Here.
Chair Markey.
Here.
You have a quorum present.
Thank you. Commissioner Kinlock, you want to hit? There you go. All right, next item.
B, Chairwoman's remarks.
I have none except you might want to note an article in the Detroit News today about GLIWA. It's a pretty in-depth article that might be interesting to everyone. It's actually written by Sarah Rahal, Khalil's sister. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Next item.
C, approval of the February 7th, 2023 meeting minutes.
We have an approval and support. Any questions, comments, changes? All those in favor, say aye or hit the yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Next item.
E, unfinished business. There is none listed.
Item.
Item 1, under new business, forwarding the January 2023 report of all complaint calls made to 1-888 road crew.
Okay, we're going to take all of these items and then do a resolution or a vote at the end. Any questions on the road crew report? Okay, next item.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of amendment 2 to a cooperative agreement with the 1-year option to renew with Herc Reynolds.
Okay, this is an extension of time. No change in the dollar amount for heavy equipment to maintain the county roads, bridges, and pump houses. Any questions on this one? All right, next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with 2 1-year options to renew with Benkari LLC, DBA Benkari Mechanical LLC.
Okay, is there someone here just to give us a brief? Two coming up.
Good morning, Patrick
Morning.
Cullen, Division Director, Environmental Services, Department of Public Services. Through the chair, this contract is to RTI Laboratories for water quality testing that's required by our state and federal permits, which regulate our 4 CSO basins that we operate in River Rouge, Redford, Dearborn Heights, and Livonia. And also for our MS4 program, for our NPDES MS4 program, which requires the county to do water quality monitoring throughout the watershed. And so RTI was this is an extension of RTI's existing contract. It's a little bit. Am I in the wrong? Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Take back that commission chair.
Actually,
I was ahead of myself on the agenda.
I thought you were going down that road.
In a hurry. I can't believe you guys let me go on that long.
Well, just stay posted, Patrick. Stay posted. You'll be up again then for the RTI.
Good morning, Chair.
Good morning.
Michael Al, Deputy Director of Buildings. Through the chair, commissioners, good morning.
Morning.
So Benkari is our, we're replacing an existing company that we had called Pro Services. What they do is at the jails and so forth throughout the county where we have food services. They do the cleaning of the underground drain lines, and we do that every other month. If we don't do that, then we have bigger problems. So we have to maintain those underground sewage lines. And that's what this company is going to be doing for us.
And so Hamtramck's not on this because they don't have food?
Hamtramck is there.
Is there? Who doesn't have food service?
I'm sorry?
Is there one that doesn't have food service?
They do. That's where they prepare all the meals for the jails currently.
In Hamtramck?
In Hamtramck, yeah.
Is there another facility that they're not doing because of?
So this is also going to include like the morgue and everything else. So,
Oh, okay.
So this is a countywide contract.
Okay. So at Hamtramck, they,
Hamtramck, the CJC, it's all included, yeah. You got to maintain the underground sewage lines.
all right, they were the low bidder on this.
They were, yeah. This went out to RFP, so.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, any questions on this? All right, thank you. Thank you for patiently waiting.
No problem.
Okay, now the next item.
Item
Madam Clerk.
4, requesting commission approval of modification 1 to a 2-year professional services contract with a 2-year option to renew with RTI Laboratories.
Okay, so this is for water testing.
Repeat everything I just said.
I don't think so. Does anybody have any questions on this?
Apologies
or-
to the committee.
No, no problem. It took us a while to even realize. Any questions on this? I think we all heard what you said, so appreciate it. All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of a 3-year professional services contract with 1 2-year option to renew with CBA Holdings, Inc., DBA Leslie Tire Service.
Right. This is for tire recapping, repair, and other roadside services. Is someone here on this? Please, then I'm asking, and please introduce yourself. Hard to tell, just flip it once. One time.
Tap it to make sure it's on.
There you go.
All right, good morning. Again, Angelia Miller, Assistant Division Director of Equipment. This is a 3-year contract with a 2-year option to renew. This is a previous vendor that we've had a relationship with over 10+ years. They provide all the tires for the equipment. And we had a total of 39 solicitations that were sent out. 4 bidders actually came back in and they were the lowest.
Okay, there were some questions from our finance team that they thought this contract was high. Can you explain, I think you guys had a communication with our finance people. Could you explain about this and why it is higher than in the past?
I'm actually going to turn it over to Michelle Yancey.
Okay.
Hi, Michelle Yancey, DPS admin. The reason that this contract is higher than the previous one that was 3 years ago is due to the cost of inflation with everything else. Tires are higher, rubber is higher, just the cost of doing the services to do the repairs and things like that is higher. So that's why the contract is more than what the previous one was.
So it's mostly on the materials, not necessarily on the labor costs?
It's somewhat of labor as well, but not as much.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're seeing that across.
It's an on-demand contract, so it's not that we're gonna spend this whole amount. It's, as needed.
Yep, and it's as needed, all types, during the day, holidays, anything, right?
Yes.
Hey, Commissioner Baydoun?
To that point, do we have more equipment to be maintained? Is that another reason why the bid is higher? Or it's about the
No,
same?
it's the same. Yeah, fleet
Same.
size is the same. It's not that much of a difference as far as why we have a disparity as far as the price.
Great, thank you, both of
Yeah.
you. All right, next item.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a construction contract with Allied Building Service Company of Detroit.
Okay, this is for Elizabeth Park concessions. And this is just an extension of the contract, again, because of supply chain delays, that type of thing. Correct? Just to make sure that I'm right. Good morning.
Good morning, Alicia Bradford, DPS Parks Division Director. Madam Chair, you are correct. This is just an extension for time for the renovation conversion of our Elizabeth Park concession stand, just because of delays of cost, and also making sure that we have all the permitting secured for the electrical upgrades there as well from the city of Trenton. This will allow us that time in order to complete the project and submit and pay the contractor for whatever work performed during that.
Okay, when will this be completed?
The schedule task that we have, it should be completed by June, July of 2023.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
Great.
But just to safeguard, if there are any other delays, we want to make sure that we have the contract in place and approved in order to pay them for services and in case there's any other issues that are unforeseen.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions on this? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of a 3-year contract with a 1-year option to renew with Orchard Hilton McClement Inc., DBA OHM Advisors.
All right. Is anybody here for this one? Morning. Tell us about this. I guess my main question, this is not on the CIP, right? Is this an additional? I don't know if you get the information that we get. Okay, Michelle.
Okay, Michelle Yancey, DPS admin. No, this is not on the CIP list. This is not under, oh, how can I explain this? Wait, is this the one? I don't believe it's on the, wait, I'm not sure.
Okay. Felicia, if something's added to the CIP list, do we have to do anything with that as a commission?
Through the chair, so that list would be amended with your approval.
I'm sorry, is this the one that we needed to amend the CIP to, no?
This is, you know
There
what,
were
I don't
several
want to put
ones.
you on the spot here. Maybe you can get with me after.
Okay.
And then I will report out to the commissioners, if that's okay. And then especially before full board. I'm just wondering, the analysis said it wasn't on the CIP.
Terrence, wait.
Oh, Terrence, I'm sorry.
Hello, through the chair, the department, Michelle stated this project was not on the CIP plan. There's another contract that we're holding because we need a revised CIP because that is going to be on the CIP plan, the engineering, but this contract, supposedly, this project is not a CIP plan project.
Correct. I had the two.
Okay, so this does not have to be on the CIP?
No, it does
Okay,
not.
all right. That's exactly what I wanted to know. So this bridge replacement is going to cost about $3.5 million total, it looks like.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Michelle, and I don't want to put you on the spot, what differentiates something going on the CIP plan and like this not going on the CIP?
What I was told is that depends on how it's budgeted, the budget numbers. Can I send you the email?
Yes, you can. And maybe Terrence knows. I don't want, yeah.
It was explained to me. I just don't have that paperwork here.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot, so you
that's
can
fine.
get a hold of me afterwards. And if I had like realized all this, I would have asked you before.
No.
All right,
Sorry about that.
let's just do that then.
Okay,
Any other questions on this? All right, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, next item.
Moving to the addenda, item 8, requesting commission approval of retroactive amendment 1 to a contract with Ajax Paving Industries.
Right, I think Michelle's coming up on this one again.
Michelle Yancey, DPS admin. Yes, this is a very retroactive contract that was completed in 2019. However, it was not brought to our attention that the final bill was not paid for additional services until most recently. The engineer over the project had left the county, and we are just trying to make Ajax whole with this amendment.
Okay, so why did that happen? I mean, I know you weren't even in this position.
I don't know why the engineer did not forward this information, nor was the invoices ignored. But we weren't notified until just recently that they had not been paid. So,
You were notified by Ajax?
yes,
So it took Ajax since 2019 to realize they weren't paid, what is it, 36, wait,
it's actually 96,000, but we still have money on the blanket. So to add this 36 to the amount that's still left on the blanket to make them whole, I think it was total amount owed to them is $97,228.77, included interest.
they didn't, when they didn't realize and we didn't realize?
Correct. I have Jim Jernigan and Andrew on the phone to address any additional matters. And Jim can probably speak to the interest part.
I can. Thank you, Michelle. Good morning, Madam Chair and everybody. Jim Jernigan, Office of Corporation Counsel. Yeah, this is the one that got on our radar probably at the end of the summer. So we worked with Ajax to make sure that they were made whole. And I do want to disclose, and that's part of the reason why I'm on this call, I do want to disclose that Ajax actually filed a lawsuit in Wayne County Circuit Court, but I've been in contact with their attorney and you know, he was actually a part of drafting this amendment to make sure that Ajax is going to get made whole. So I'm assuming that this will take care of them in their entirety for this contract.
Okay, so they filed a lawsuit and we still didn't know that we owed them money after they filed a lawsuit?
Sorry, the chair. No, we actually didn't. They filed, and this is kind of funny, not funny, haha, but they actually filed the lawsuit after we were already working our way through the amendment. So I've never been entirely clear, to be honest with you, why they went ahead and filed the lawsuit. It was probably November, December, but we had been working through this again since, I don't know, Michelle might know better than I, but like July or August. So I don't know if they did it just because they were irritated and wanted to make sure we were serious about moving this along or what, but well, like I say, I'm assuming that this will make them whole and they'll be happy and healthy.
Okay, we have a couple commissioners with questions. Commissioner Hattis?
Madam the Chair, you said they filed lawsuit against us when?
They did, through the chair, I believe it was in November of 2022.
No, he said the commission was, the department, a little off today. The department was working on this back in July and they knew we were working on it. They filed the lawsuit anyway. Is that correct, Jim?
I think, yes, it is, because I know that I was in contact with Andrew and Farquharson, and he was in contact with Ajax. So, you know, I guess I can't speak to their motivation other than what I've already said.
What in Commissioner Basham's head on the retroactive of this issue? Something I'm not comfortable with personally, because there's some lawsuit in action, and I don't know if I missed the information.
Have they dropped the lawsuit or is it still going on?
I'm sorry, through the chair. No, it's still pending. And again, I've been in contact with their counsel, and so they know that this amendment is working its way through the committee process, and you know, hopefully will be on next full board.
Okay, there's some additional questions. Commissioner Baydoun?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jim, this is a little bit confusing and troubling to say the least. So this work was completed in 2019. The total contract of this work was how much?
Including this amendment,
Yes, including
be-
this 97,000.
$5,386,270.09.
This is a contract for over $5 million. And somehow they sent us an invoice for the balance and no one saw this invoice to be paid?
Not to my knowledge, they did not.
And they're charging interest on this balance, the amount which this 97,000 you said includes interest, correct?
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, how much is the interest?
I can ask through the chair, $21,000 is interest.
$21,000 is the interest. Wow. Are we doing business with Ajax Paving on other projects throughout Wayne County?
We are.
Huge mistake for somebody not to notice this. And I mean, this is taxpayers' money that we have to give out, $21,000. And it took a lawsuit for us to realize that we still owe this company this much money?
The lawsuit came after the amendment was in the works. And the people that should have paid this are no longer with the county.
So
Here
somebody,
at the county.
They're no longer with the county. The people that should have paid this and was aware of this project is no longer with the county.
somebody dropped the ball big time on this issue.
They did.
I'm just curious, do we have to pay the interest, Jim?
Ordinance provides for it through the chair, respectfully. The ordinance provides for it. And they refuse to waive it. So
Really, with
that's-
all the amount of money, all the business that we give them and all the amount of contracts they receive from Wayne County, they still insisting on receiving $21,000 in interest?
Correct.
Okay. Have to remember that next time we get contracts from, for Ajax Paving, I guess.
I think we just approved a huge Ajax paving a couple weeks ago, like huge one, 5 million. Yeah. Yep. Okay, Commissioner Palomera.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Jim or Michelle, is there a financial advantage for them to try to prevail on the lawsuit rather than on us just paying the bill with interest? Are they going to get more money if they prevail in court, either attorney's fees or does the case go away once we approve this contract? I'm assuming we're going to approve it next Thursday. Does then the case get dismissed?
Through the chair.
Let Jim.
Sorry, through the chair. That would certainly be the intention. I would have to confer and consult with opposing counsel to make sure that that's going to happen. But to your question, do they have an advantage by pursuing the lawsuit? Not really, because our contracts do not provide an opportunity for the vendor to recover attorney fees. And without that contractual provision, there's really no statutory or court rule basis to allow them to recover it. So that's why I'm hopeful that this will make this entire matter resolve the entire matter.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Commissioner Killock.
I have a couple of questions and I guess points. You have an item that's before us and it is associated with a pending lawsuit. This should, in my opinion, because it's directly connected to a pending and current lawsuit, it should be part of a settlement. We should not be voting on something that is still in court, even though we're saying that it would not benefit them because they can't recover to keep the lawsuit going. But the fact that they filed a lawsuit, this should be part of a clear written agreement, understanding, or some sort of memo stating that lawsuit will cease. And furthermore, we should not have relationships that are considered in good standing when a vendor is suing us, when we are in when we're in a litigation or a lawsuit with them, there should be some provisions or some processes which would say that, one, we would cease and desist from doing any ongoing business while, we are in a lawsuit. So I'm just saying, so I feel uncomfortable moving this forward without a clear understanding that when I say clear understanding of written instrument saying that the lawsuit will be dismissed or will be settled and that no further action will be taken. That's generally what arises on the other side of when lawsuits are filed. They made the decision to file a lawsuit knowing that you all were processing that outstanding invoice for whatever reason it was delayed. And so since they did that, that should trigger a response from us.
To that point, to that point, Jim, does it show good faith on our part if we go forward with this? I mean, to Commissioner Kinloch's point with the lawsuit, or go ahead, I think you were going to say something.
Yes, if I may, through the chair. So this is what I would offer, is that, and we've actually had this discussion internally as to whether or not a settlement, which is a different process than what we're doing right now through this Committee on Public Services. Our opinion is that would only extend the matter further, thereby allowing them to accrue potentially more interest payments. So I'm not sure that helps us. Now, to the question as to whether or not there should be a settlement agreement, this would only move forward to how do I want to frame this? Unless they agree to a dismissal with prejudice as to all counts, the administration would not move forward with this matter as it relates to next Thursday's full board.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, where's that document as our staff got? You know what I'm saying? Where is it attached to the action that we're about to take?
Well, it's not, and that would be a written agreement between me and the other attorney. Basically indicating what I just said, which is that if the matter is ultimately approved at full board, then the lawsuit would be dismissed with prejudice, which would preclude any further action on their part.
Not telling folks how to do their job, but telling folks how to do their job. Next time something like this happens where it's in litigation, the resolution should be tied to it because we're taking an action as a legislative body. We want to make sure that there's some sense of finality or have a clear understanding of where this thing would end. So, yeah.
Commissioner Baydoun.
Michelle, how long have we been doing business with this company, Ajax Paving?
Longer than I've been here with the county, and I've been here over 11 years, 12
And they're a
years.
reputable company. So it's,
Yes.
yes. So
I don't know, this is, it's mind boggling. All it
I see
takes is a one phone call from their accounts receivable, somebody in upper management in DPS, and say, you have an outstanding invoice. And why wasn't this brought to our attention? Now we have to pay $21,000 in interest on something that was, I don't know, the person you said who was responsible for this is no longer with the county. The question remains also, how many contracts did we have to pay interest on because we didn't pay them on time? Does anybody know that?
I do not have a response to that question. I don't believe we've had any, to my knowledge, that we had to amend a contract to include interest.
I guess my question to Andy and to you and DPS, there has to be a process put in place within the department that this should never happen again. We have the money, it's sitting in our accounts, right? And somebody received an invoice for some ungodly reason, they didn't pay it. And now here we are, we're facing a lawsuit. This doesn't look good for Wayne County, that a paving company is suing us for $97,000 because somebody dropped the ball. It's troubling.
And it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, that Ajax contacted the county, So they knew there was an outstanding, and then they started processing it maybe in June or July.
We tried to pay what we could off the balance of the blanket. However, since it was such a time difference from when the project had ended in 19 to when we wanted to process what we could off the invoice, procurement said that we needed to do this amendment before they would even open the blanket up to us so we can pay some of the money that was owed. That's what I was informed.
Commissioner, oh, go ahead, Felicia, please.
Through the chair to this honorable body, and I think I'm speaking on behalf of all staff, that we were not aware that there was a lawsuit. Had my office, or I've been aware of that, there would have been other questions that I would have asked regarding this contract before it got to this body, and our written analysis probably would have been different had we been aware.
I'm sorry, and the department, well, Michelle Yancey was not aware of this and would have informed you of it if I was.
Oh, so that's the first point. The second point is I actually do have several questions, and I apologize for this because I know that some staff were aware, but I wasn't aware about the interest. And I actually have some legal questions that I will follow up with Corp Counsel regarding interest, because I'm not even sure that's in our contract. So how are they entitled to it? So I would like to get some clarification before this either moves forward or at least pass full board regarding the actual legal basis for paying interest through this contract. Maybe a different mechanism, but actually through this particular contract. I have some questions. I also have a question and concern regarding why procurement didn't pay the remainder of the balance. If the commission had an approved contract, that contract was approved to pay that vendor for that amount. So why would we withhold if we know we have a vendor? The process just isn't clear to me why you needed to come back here for those months when perhaps you could have paid $60,000 or something, whatever you had left, and then had that following. Maybe we could have avoided additional interest as just stated, and then perhaps a lawsuit in general. So I would just say that staff will follow up with Corp Counsel in the department regarding this. If you move it out of this committee, we'll try to get some clarifications by Thursday. If you don't, we'll try to get them before this next meeting.
Madam Chair.
Wait.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, there's something here, maybe somebody make me understand. The balance, it's 90-some thousand dollars, the one they shown us for, and the interest rate, and the interest, it's a 22,000.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what's the interest rate they charging us? What percentage?
I don't recall what the ordinance, through the chair, I don't recall what the ordinance provides for off the top of my head, the rate.
More than 25% interest rate on 97,000, 22,000. Something not right in there. And beside that, the history, it show us we have a good relationship with Ajax for many years, and $1 million of dollars for them to sue us and charge us a $22,000 and 97,000 penalty or interest rate. They jeopardize good relationship. It really doesn't make sense to me.
and let's see.
Yeah, Commissioner Kinloch.
Madam Chair, we have a number of questions, and our council has questions for this item, on item 8. I would move that we pass this for today.
I have one question before that. Jim, is there a reason why we should not pass this for the day? Is this the total of the accumulated penalty fee with them, or does this just keep accumulating as we move on with this? The 21,000, does that keep going on?
Through the chair, I mean, yes, in theory, the interest would continue to accrue on the unpaid balance at whatever that rate is through whenever it gets paid. So that was the rationale behind trying to move it along versus pulling it and doing a settlement agreement, which would take more time and potentially incur more expenses and interest.
Okay, I have a suggestion.
So what I'm gonna do is, Madam Chair, I'm withdrawing my motion. Just listening to him, and without objection from our council, if some conversations can be made before full board that bring some clarity to all of the questions that have been raised, I would like to suggest that we move this forward pending these questions that are outstanding being resolved by full board.
Another way it may be beneficial on our part is to move this without recommendation to full board as a committee, to move it without recommendation.
That's
and then
fine.
hopefully we can get the answers on Thursday. This way it's coming out without a yes vote and we can see what's going to move forward with that, if that's agreeable.
I agree with that too.
Okay, so Commissioner Baydun.
I have one more question to Commissioner Hattis's point. I really would like to know what the interest rate is, and it keeps accumulating. Why? And this opens up my mind. When we give out these contracts, is there a stipulation if Ajax does not complete a job by a certain period of time because of labor shortage or whatever reasons they could not fulfill their obligation? Do they deduct for us from the contract that we gave them?
I believe
Do they
there's-
compensate us for not delivering a job on time? Is this in our contract?
I believe that's in the liquidated damages section, but Jim can speak to that.
Through the chair, yes, that's correct. We do have a liquidated damages provision in, I think, all of our contracts.
I think, Jim, we need to look at the interest rate. This bothers me a lot, that we have to pay $21,000 in interest to a company that we gave them millions of dollars in contracts.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Kinlock.
one last point. I just want to say it is important from my standpoint that we look at the fact that apparently the previous administration or staff did not do something. And the contractor felt the need to get their money. They tried, and we're told that this was it was complete in 2019. So people have a right to exercise, whatever remedy that is available to them. And unfortunately, I think we really need to clearly understand why the department did not pay these folks when, as our lawyer said, they were authorized to a contract was already approved. Something caused them to believe that, they kept getting ignored. As many businesses will do, they sued. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll get all those questions through our law department and find out exactly what happened. And it's hard to.
And then also
Hard
the
to-
interest
hard to
rate, want to
know
know what
right
the
now.
interest rate, like what Commissioner Baydun is saying. I mean, so that's something that we put in the ordinance to penalize ourselves to.
Right, and that's the big question. Is this in the contract that they get a penalty fee if we don't pay? So, okay, we're going to take this one right now.
I will make a motion to move this to full board for further discussion. I'm not implying, without recommendation, I'm not recommending approval on this item. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to have a hell of a day with Commissioner Basham on Thursday.
Bill.
Do I have support for that?
Support.
Support, okay, and
Need to vote on this.
we need to vote on this. Oh, I think the clerk's.
Is that possible to inform Ajax is gonna be the hearing on Thursday if they like to have representative to answer some of our question too?
How about that, Jim?
For sure, yeah, through the chair.
Okay.
Yeah, I was absolutely going to contact their attorney, let them know exactly what's happening, and encourage them to appear if they'd like.
And
Thank
bring
you.
with them a dismissal of the lawsuit without prejudice.
Understood. I get it.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk. Okay, there we go. All right.
Final question.
Yeah, go ahead.
If we approve and pay, then the case became neutral. I mean, did they have the right to continue with it?
You hear that, Jim?
I think I did. Through the chair, the answer would be no. There would be a dismissal with prejudice, meaning that they could not bring any other lawsuits for the matter related to this particular contract.
Solve the problem and we pay the money we owe. The only thing is, I personally feel if they're looking for long-term relationship with the county, the unfair $22,000 interest on
And that hurts a lot.
those in good faith, they should consider to waive. My opinion. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay,
agree.
so everybody, please vote on moving this forward without recommendation.
Addis?
Great, motion passes. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 9, requesting commission approval of a 2-year contract with Z Contractors.
Okay, this is for pump stations. Is someone here on this? It's good news.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Morning.
Commission. Steve Scher, Director of Road Maintenance Division.
Head, Steve.
So this contract is for our, to rehab and restoration of our pump stations for the first 3. We've been waiting patiently on this and it's finally here. So we're really excited to move, we can get this thing to move forward.
And which pump stations are these?
So these are the first 3 that we've selected based on, one is, the first one is 111 pump station located at Greenfield, just south of Michigan Avenue in the city of Dearborn. The other one is pump station 182 Goddard Road, just west of I-75. It's borderline Allen Park, Southgate. And the other one is 716, that's E-course and I-94 in the city of Taylor. So these will undergo some structural repairs, restorations, electrical, mechanical, and some pump replacements to get this thing moving forward.
Do you know how long this is going to take for those 3? pump stations?
I think if I remember reading the contract, they have, I think, 486 days to complete this project.
Commissioner Baydun.
Steve, yeah, 111, that's in my backyard in Dearborn.
Yes, sir.
Tell me this is gonna be replaced, not rehabbed.
Well, I mean, we're obviously replacing parts, you know, we're replacing the pumps, electrical, we're overhauling all the electrical, so it's like literally brand new.
The major issue with this pump, it failed every time we had the tremendous amount of rain, is when the power goes out. Are we doing anything in terms of built-in generators so the power never goes out?
Good question, Commissioner Baydun. So if I can just correct a couple things here. First of all, when the pumps go out, is basically due to power failure. It's not because the pumps failed. That's very important.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two, yes, we are working on SCADA system. We are working on back generators, but those come in at different phases. So right now, we want to get these pumps replaced, get these pump stations up to where, performing the restoration on them first. But we have to go through stages.
So at the latter stage, after all the restoration work is completed,
right,
this generator would be somewhere physically close to the pump station where it turns on automatically if the power goes out?
So as we make revisions to our electrical, we're also taking in effect that, we're going to be considering power generators, or backup generators for that. So that's all being taken care of in the design. Aspect.
Okay, I mean, that's very important, Steve, because historically, I can tell you the major flood of 1980, the same spot in 2021, because of the pump failure. We just want to make sure if we're going to invest all this kind of money that this pump will function even if the power goes out. That's my hope. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Now, our legal department had some concerns about this with the contract. Felicia, could you? I think it was, who wrote this?
Apologies, I was still looking at the other matter.
That's okay.
Through the chair, so this particular contract did not contain a specific provision regarding the auditor general. And so you'll see in the analysis that just about every contract this body approves has a provision that expressly states that the auditor general is authorized to perform an audit. And it's in the contract document, so every contractor is aware. Now that provision is based on something in the ordinance. So the ordinance, the procurement ordinance does provide the auditor the opportunity to audit. But the problem is that most contractors don't read the county's ordinance and they're not aware of it. And so that's why the preference is to have it in the contracts. We have started noticing a trend where we've received a few contracts that do not include that auditor language, and the department refers us back to the ordinance. And so the question really becomes for this body, do we prefer to continue to have that language in the contract so we can let departments know? Because it seems that they're trending to not including it in contracts now as opposed to having it in. So it was just something to bring to your attention so you can give us guidance as staff so we'll know how to ultimately move forward.
Okay, so is someone here that can tell us if that would be a problem to add that into the contract? I think Eddie just stepped out, I think. Oh.
Other chair matter, the other issue was that it doesn't include an assignment clause. Most contracts indicate that the vendor can't assign the work to someone else without the county's approval. This contract doesn't have any such language. For some reason, that provision was not included, which means that theoretically the contractor could assign it to some company that the county hasn't vetted without the county's consent. So again, that's language that is just about in almost 100% of our contracts. Not sure why it wasn't included in this one.
Okay, this might have been an oversight, but good morning.
Eddie Fakori with the Wayne County CEO's Office Administration. I'm sorry, I was pulled away. I didn't hear most of the detail, but Darcel filled me in. As it relates to that request, I think the best thing I can do from today is ensure a conversation with James Heath so that our Director of Corp Counsel, and he can help to navigate it and get an answer as far as how the administration feels on that.
Okay, and if the committee feels like they want those two things in the contract, I mean, we can move this forward to full board, but does everyone agree that they would like these two things in the contract since they're always in our contracts? So if the administration got back to us before the vote
Sure.
on Thursday?
Yeah. Based on the actions today, I'll make sure that James Heath and his team are aware of it, and they'll communicate through Felicia and her team on the position that they have.
Okay, Commissioner Baidoon and Kinlock and Hedis, are you okay with that? Putting those two things into the contract? Okay, all right, then it looks like it could move forward, but we'd like those in there before we vote on it next Thursday.
I'll ensure that the conversation takes place with Felicia. Thanks.
Item would be contingent upon the revisions.
Okay.
So move with the contingency.
Okay, so we are now,
Number 9, right?
yeah, this is number 9. And we're done with the agenda, correct, Madam Clerk?
We haven't voted on this.
Right, but we're done with the agenda, right?
Right.
Okay. So I don't know if Joey just stepped. Oh, for a second. Hold on 1 minute.
Madam Chair, so number 9 has that exception that we're just saying with that contingency piece.
Right, with the, it could go forward with the revisions that we have suggested. So do I have a motion for items 1 through 7 and number 9 with the revisions that we just talked about? Okay,
Second,
all
support.
right, we have an approval and support. Any other discussion before we vote? All right. 3-1 vote. Okay, this agenda moves forward with different aspects in it. Easiest thing to say. Next item, Madam Clerk.
F, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I've heard of none. Next item.
Public comments.
Hey, anyone from the chambers here that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? All right, anyone on the phone or on Zoom that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? You get 2 minutes. Do you see anyone, Madam Clerk?
There's no one on Zoom.
Anyone on the phone that would like to address us? Do we have any emails, Madam Clerk?
No emails.
All right, one more time. Anyone that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? Okay, next item.
Adjournment.
All right, we have an approval and support for adjournment.